that woolly part like a lamb's wool. You ever seen like fleece? Randy, gotta get out in the country, boy. All right. We might have one around. Maybe Jane can find it. But you know, when dew comes, you guys are out in the morning. You've seen dew on the ground, right? Are there dry things and wet things? It just covers everything. There we go. It's my lammy jammies. It's my lammy jammies. That is fleece. Boy, as fun as that would be, guys. But if I lay down on the ground in my yard this morning, it would have been wet. The grass would have been wet, any leaf, anything on the ground would have been wet. But God, nothing's impossible with him. So the next morning, Gideon goes out. And you know, I'm sort of thinking Gideon was hoping God wouldn't do that. That he wouldn't have to go. Because you know what? There was a lot of bad bullies in the Midianites. He didn't want to go out there and fight them. But he goes out, and sure enough, he picks that up. And that is just soaking wet. He takes it, and he brings that out. And the Bible said he had a whole bowl full of water. But the ground around is completely dry. Now, that should mean Gideon's ready to go, right? Not our man Gideon. Now, he wants to make double sure. So he said, now God, don't get mad at me. Don't send some lightning bolt down and strike me. I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. Tonight I'm going to put that fleece back out. And tomorrow morning when I get up, I'd like the ground all around it to be wet, but I want that fleece to be dry. And then I'll know for sure that's what you want me to do. Gideon goes through his day, goes to bed, gets up the next morning, goes out. Do you think Gideon's hoping that maybe everything's wet? I think he does. But he goes out there, and sure enough, nothing, bone dry, ground all around wet. Now he's pretty sure God wants him. He came through, he did what Gideon asked, now he knows that he's supposed to do this. And you know what? That's not just a couple of thousand years ago when God did this. He's still doing stuff like that today. If he makes you a promise, and all the promises in the Bible, he's coming through, guys. Now, after these tests, Gideon had the courage to do, and he knew he had asked God for two things that were almost impossible to happen, and they happened. So now he's sure. So he goes out and he gathers up 32,000 men. Sounds like a pretty good army, guys, right? Does that look pretty good? Could you go out to battle with that many people? I feel fairly confident. But God said to Gideon, now, he said, you got too many guys. Gideon's probably thinking, say what? It's like a pretty good army here. He said, no. He said, if you go out with that many men, everybody is going to be pretty confident that you did it by your own strength. And I don't need that. So, he wanted them to know that he didn't need their strength. He wanted to use them, but he wanted them to know he had the power. So, he said, what you do is you tell of those 32,000 men, any of them who are scared, just go home. It's okay, go home. So, he started out with 32,000 men. 2 out of every 3 men went home. By the time all the men went home who were scared, there were only 10,000 men left. Now, that's still a lot of guys. I feel fairly confident with 10,000 guys, but God said, I got a plan here. Gideon, work with me. He said, take them down to the lake and tell them to get a drink. Now, most of the guys got down. How many of you guys have a pet? How did they drink? Head first into the bowl, right? Yes. Yeah. And that's what a lot of these guys did. But 300 men got down, and instead of putting their face around it, they got their hand, they scooped it up like this. And God said, those 300 men that got down and did the scooping, they're the guys we're going with. So, that night, Gideon got his guys together. He gave them a lantern, and they hid it in a jar, and they got their other sword, and they head down there. And God said, Gideon, if you're still afraid, I got one more thing to help you out. Sneak down behind the Midianites' camp. Listen, you're going to hear something. As the Gideon goes down there and he gets there, he hears one of the Midianite soldiers talking to another one. He said, dude, you are not going to believe what I dreamed. He said, I dreamed that there was crazy stuff going on, and we got all beat up by these people, and Gideon said, guys, that was funny. He couldn't talk. You get it?
Yeah.
He was excited. He was pumped. He was like, yeah, let's go. So he went back up, and he got his men ready. He gave them the trumpets and the torches, and he put them inside because, oh, they got plans. They're going to make some noise. So he said, follow me. We're going down. They head down, and as they spread out around the camp, Gideon goes, when I give you a thumbs up, break your jars, shout out with those trumpets, and raise your torches. And they did. And they shouted, for the Lord and Gideon. The Midianites, can you guys imagine all of a sudden, here you are, your nice little lammy jammies, in your sleeping bag, it's all good, and boom! You hear crashing and light all around you. They woke up, they were so confused, so out of it, they started fighting each other. Gideon didn't have to do anything. They're sitting there going, they couldn't believe it. But then, the more they thought about it, they realized, hey, who set this whole thing up? Yeah. And the Midianites, who wasn't beat up or killed by their own fellow soldiers, they took off. They were out of there. And it's all because Gideon, who thought he was just a little bit of nobody, he was willing to use whatever talent God gave him. It was very cool. So, what does that have to do with me? Well, God has a plan for us, just like he did Gideon. And each one of us has our unique role. It's hard to believe that maybe you're one of 10 quintillion people running around this earth, but God has a plan for you. Maybe you think, I'm nobody. Gideon thought that. But look, did God use him in a big way?
Yeah.
Major, guys. He has a unique and wonderful plan for you guys. I know that sounds like words, but it's true. And it's not just for you, just not so your life can be happy. He wants you to affect other people. It's not just you. It's about other people too. And, you have a choice. You can choose to participate in God's plan, or you can miss out. But if you don't carry out his plan, does that mean it's not going to happen? Do you think if Gideon would have totally not gone, God could have not done that through somebody else? What do you think? He would have chosen somebody else, but look what Gideon would have missed. He saw God's awesome plan. Gideon didn't have to even do anything. God defeated them. But he had to be willing to go out, and he saw that strength. God is all-powerful. He doesn't need us, but he wants to use us. He might use somebody else if he doesn't use you. You guys might miss the blessing, but I want to use my talent for God. Sometimes I do. I try to, but hopefully I don't miss out on a lot of blessings. So, what now, guys? Well, you can't say never, because God has plans for you. You can't always see them. And like Gideon, he didn't think he was a leader. He thought he was a little weak guy who was nothing. But he might use you as a leader someday. Someday when I'm 150 and I can no longer come up here, who's going to do this? Somebody's got to come up here and do it. Maybe you guys. When you let God use you, seriously, guys, there's open possibilities. Anything could happen. Sounds like a pretty good adventure to me. What do you think, Mary Kay?
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's great.